welcome to Go's Reviews. You suggested, I review it, and I figured, why not go take a trip down memory lane, as today, for the next 2 weeks, I will be re-reviewing the Friday the 13th films. Yes, I am aware that 2 years ago I already reviewed these movies, but I figured, why not do it, why not look at them with new eyes? By that I mean, I've rewatched all the movies to build up to this, and I decided to relook at them with newer eyes. So, without further ado, let's get started on this remastered franchise review by taking a look at Friday the 13th from 1980.
Hello? Who's that? Oh, hi. What are you doing out in this mess? Doing anything. We were just messing up. 4. 5. 6. 7. Can I help you? Hello? 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. Friday the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough. Friday the 13th.
So Friday the 13th was released in 1980, and it was directed by Sean S. Cunningham, and it was promoted by Paramount Pictures. And the film tells the story of Camp Crystal Lake, which has been for many years the target of a bunch of terrible things. In 1950, a young boy named Jason Voorhees drowned, and the following year 2 counselors were killed. Then, years later, the year 1980, a group of counselors try to repair the camp to be reopened, but unknowingly become the targets of a mysterious killer. The original Friday the 13th doesn't really provide us with any of the killings provided by Jason Voorhees. We do get some killings, but they're provided by a mysterious killer, who we already know who it is, because years before I was even born, Siskel and Ebert already spoiled the ending of this film in their review of this movie. The kills in this film are performed really well, especially due to amazing gore effects from Tom Savini, who's probably the second best makeup effects artist in the business. The acting is also pretty decent for a film released in the 80s. The backstory of who Jason Voorhees was is handled pretty well when it's finally revealed. And for what it is, the mystery of who the killer is actually really good. The killer is almost never seen in the movie, usually hiding behind bushes or seeing its point of view. That's pretty much the way you show a mysterious killer. This film was also known for being the very first movie to have Kevin Bacon involved, though he unfortunately meets his demise near the end of the film. Now, some of the characters are actually pretty good. One of the standouts is Alice, who is our typical survival girl for this movie. She's a nice girl who ends up being put in a horrible situation. That's usually how these survival girls work. Also, I've heard a lot of people complain there's way too many quiet moments, but I think it works because you need the quiet moments to make the scarier moments a lot scarier. And also, you can tell in the character's eyes that something's not right. There's a scene, for example, where Alice's boyfriend, Rick, goes out to find all the other counselors, but she's all alone, and to pass the time, she starts making coffee. Even she has that suspicion, like, something's not right. Which then makes it a lot scarier when her friend's body is smashed through a window. That's how you do a good scare. The scares are pretty good. There's almost always a mystery of who this killer is and why they're killing them. There's a ton of red herrings too. You think it's the head counselor who leaves for a good chunk of the film, or you think it's this really mysterious looking dude with a machete, or you think it's the crazy dude named Crazy Ralph who says they're all gonna die if they go to the camp. But in the end, of course, we all know who the killer turns out to be. Well, nothing much less to talk about. I'm going to spoil the ending of Friday the 13th. If you haven't seen this movie, first of all, shame on you, and second of all, go watch it if you don't want to get spoiled. After Alice is the only one left alive in the camp, we're introduced to a woman named Mrs. Voorhees, played by Betsy Palmer, who signed on to this film mainly because she needed to pay for her car. But anyway, it's revealed that Mrs. Voorhees, or Pamela Voorhees, was the one killing all the kids because her son Jason was that boy who drowned all those years ago. So she went crazy and started killing people. And she's come back to do it again. I don't know why she's attacking these teens, considering they had nothing really to do with Jason's drowning, but okay. And I just think that this whole finale is kind of ridiculous, considering Alice is able to fend off Mrs. Voorhees way too much. She knocks her down and doesn't try to kill her. And also I think it's funny that Mrs. Voorhees, who's been killing people easily throughout this whole movie, is now struggling to kill somebody with Alice. But anyway, the fight that eventually gets to a dock where Alice gets the upper hand, takes a machete, and cuts Mrs. Voorhees' head clean off her body, causing it to fall, and Mrs. Voorhees' hands not believing that it happened. Alice then takes a canoe, drives out to the middle of the lake where she thinks she sees some cops, then a zombie kid, we first assume is Jason, pops out of the lake and drags her down. Then she wakes up in the hospital, turning out it was all a dream, but she has a sneaking suspicion that Jason may still be out in the middle of the lake. The original Friday the 13th is a great slasher film. Of course, it built a franchise, though it was one of those films that you really could just see as a one-shot, and that really didn't need a franchise, especially considering the story of how the second one was made. But we'll get to that next time. And until then, I'm Kobe the Reviewer, and Friday the 13th has just begun.